Okay, for tonight what I'm going to be doing is taking a couple of servos. I'm going to be taking a Futaba S3003 servo, as well as a Traxxas 2055 servo, and I'm going to be turning these into servo winches. It's pretty simple to do, actually. I've watched a couple videos on how to do it, and it's actually a lot easier than you would imagine. So we're going to get started. The first thing we want to do here is take out these 4 screws out of the back of your servo. So don't worry, I'll fast forward through this part for you. There we go. Easiest way, all 4 screws just push down and this pops right up. That was awesome. So since all of the gears came out, there we go. Alright, so not the best servo for a servo winch because it is plastic geared, but a couple of things I want to point out. I don't know if you can see or not. There you can. Do you see this guy right here? That's the main component. When you turn your servo, this piece comes all the way around and contacts, and this piece, it contacts this gear basically. Keeps it from rotating 180 degrees. So this is one of the main things that you want to take off, is this little piece right here. So I'm going to get some of these gears out of the way. You can take this guy out, take this gear out. Now another cool thing is this guy right here. This is the end of your potentiometer. This is what gives your servo the speed of which way it's going. It's either going to the right or to the left, and the further it turns, the faster it goes. So on. So this you're gonna have to alter this and your main gear. Your main gear is gonna get the most amount of work. So the first thing I'm gonna do is put a slot in the cross section of this potentiometer horn. So again, I will speed this up because I'm going to be using a Dremel. So okay, so basically what I've done is I've created a slot in the top of this potentiometer. Reason being is so I can take this screwdriver and I can turn my potentiometer wherever I need it. There's full right, there's full left. So what we're looking for is the sweet spot. It's going to be about right there. By sweet spot, I mean what is true centered zero. It's not turning left, it's not turning right, it's staying perfectly centered. So with that piece out of the way, we're going to move the servo out of the way. Next we're going to focus on this gear. Now this is the gear that I was telling you about. You can see that little raised area. We're going to be cutting that off because we don't need that. So again, speed up time, Dremel tool, enjoy. Okay, now that we have that cut off, so it's fairly smooth. That's good to go. The next thing, see if I can get some light inside there so you can see. Probably not. Inside, actually I can move the camera then you can see. Inside there, see those little notches? We want to take those notches out. Several ways you can do that. You can actually use a drill bit by hand, like this drill bit, by hand and do it. You can put it on a drill and do it. I like to use my Dremel tool because it's a little more precise. I can control the speed of it. So I'm going to be using the Dremel tool, cleaning this thing out so the potentiometer does not catch. That's what that's for. So speed up time, be right back. Alright, so the Dremel tool did a pretty decent job. Of course you can't see that. But this is where I'm going to take this drill bit. And I'm going to clean it out just a little bit more. Now we're cooking. Okay. So I'll bring the camera back. Now, looking inside there, you can see that it's fairly smooth. This may be super blurry. If it is, sorry. But you can see what I cleaned out basically. So, let me put the camera back down. The next thing we're going to do, so that you can adjust this thing on the fly, meaning out on the trail, what I'm going to do is go in through where you would mount on a servo horn. There's a little screw hole there. This screwdriver will just fit in it. So I need to make a hole that will go all the way through it. So I do have a smaller screwdriver or smaller drill bit for that, this guy. And we're going to take it and just run a hole right through. Be very careful because you can strip the threads out on the inside where the servo horn mounts. So I'm going to drill this out really quick. Perfect. So now that I've made the hole through, the screwdriver will fit right through. What that's for is so I can put this on the trail and actually adjust the potentiometer as we go. So a little tight. I may loosen it up just a little bit. I don't like it to fit super tight. That should do it. Perfect. Alright. So, now that all that work's done, it's time to put it all back together. That was an epic fail. That's alright. I'll just put all these back on. It wasn't supposed to do that. That was supposed to be a super cool pickup, but you know, never works out exactly like you want it to. Okay, so now we're back. Smaller gear goes all the way down to the bottom. Bigger gear goes underneath it. So, put this guy on. Put this guy on. They are locked in place. Perfect. Alright, so me personally, as you can see, there's not a whole lot of grease in there. I like to use marine grease. So I'm going to put a little bit of marine grease in there and kind of help this guy out a little bit. And a little dab will do you. You don't need to cake it full, because then you'll cause some binding issues down the road. And of course this would be much better with a metal gear servo. That's why I'm using this little cheapo servo, so that in the event that I did screw it up, it would still be okay. A little bit on these outside gears, and there we go. Alright, so we are greased up and ready. So we're ready to reassemble this bad boy and then test it out. So, I'm going to put our cap back on. I'll fast forward this. Aha, we are all done. So, all screws are tight, we're good to go. Now the next thing that I need to do is strip these wires, hook them to my handy dandy test wire over here, and then I'll throw a servo horn on it and kind of let you see what this thing does. So it is time for another speed up. Okay, wires are stripped, so I'm going to take off a servo horn off of another Futaba that I have. I got these in a lot. I don't remember what I bought to get all of these, but I got a bunch of Futabas and a bunch of Traxxas 2055s, and it was a whole bunch. I'm not going to put the screw in for the horn yet. I want you to be able to see it when it actually does turn. So give me just a second. Let me hook this up. Promise my arm is not the only thing that I want you to see. Come on, get in there, wire. Awesome. This would probably work a little better had I soldered these first, but you know, you never think about that stuff when you get ready to do a video. Okay. Here we go. White wire to white wire. Red wire to red wire. Black to black. Perfect. Alright, all three of those are in there. And I'm going to hold this just because I don't want it falling and disconnecting. So, breakout radio. I've already got battery plugged up. Turn on. Alright, so you can see it's turning. That is a signal that the potentiometer is not set. So we just go inside, and we're gonna, there we go. There's the sweet spot. Well, I was on it. Okay, sorry for hitting the camera. Okay, but now you can see it's sitting perfectly still. Now, I don't know if you can see this in the camera or not. Yeah, you can. Cool. So all I'm going to do is turn the remote to the right. And then I'm going to turn it back to the left. And there you have it. Servo winch. Now, typically, yeah, this would be a servo winch. This is at least the start to a servo winch, because you're going to need several more components to finish your servo winch. What I've seen in the past is, instead of on here putting like this plastic servo horn, I would highly recommend using this with a metal geared servo too. What you'll do is use a metal servo horn that's a circle. You'll have 4 screws holes in it. Then you can get metal bobbins from, you know, Walmart. They're shiny chrome looking. Voila, they look nice. Put your metal servo horn on. Put your bobbin on there. Bolt it to it with 2 bolts. And then use aluminum if you can. Mounts. You'll also need a servo plate for this to sit on and mount to. And what I would also recommend is, where your servo horn goes in, use a longer screw, because you're going to be probably out about this far. Use a longer screw, and on the end, if you can find an aluminum rod end, that's perfect to use. But you kind of want a short one, because I mean, this servo is not going to be that high. So when you use the aluminum rod end, you can run that through the base of whatever you're mounting your servo winch to on the opposite side. That way you've got some more stability on the back side. Because if you just mount it to these 2 places, as soon as that servo starts pulling, it's going to be pulling up here, putting a lot of stress on this gear. So if you've got another anchor point, that just evens the weight out and doesn't let it pick up the back of the servo. One other thing is, if you can find an aluminum rod, just this is fine. Even longer than that, you can probably make one. It's better if you can find a square one with a hole in it, or just make one. Either put it on the bottom or the top, does not matter. When you mount that to your servo mounting points back here, screw that into the top or the bottom. You want it to have a hole in one end. Reason being is because that's where you're going to feed your wire through. I don't have all the components to make mine, or I would make it now, but this was just kind of getting you prepped with your servo. So this servo is prepped, it's ready to go. The only other thing you need is the metal servo horn, that's a circle, metal bobbin, aluminum rod end. Aluminum is better for servo mounting brackets, a servo plate, and some wire. So, hope you guys enjoyed the makeshift servo makeshift winch out of a servo. I've already completed the Traxxas 2055, so now I have two. I'm going to try to knock two more of these out tonight, along with replacing these two motors. Just bought two new ones today, so replace those two motors with two brand new ones. Get this beast ready for our Georgia Rock Zombies trail run this Sunday, 2 days away, 3 days away. So cool. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to rate, comment, subscribe.